What's up all my devil dogs? It's your boy Sean Holly, Strength Corps Iron 5-Star General. Welcome to another video. Before I get started, if you guys can go ahead and drop a like down below, let's try and get this video to at least 50 likes. Try and help to grow the channel and get this into more people's feed. So I've been getting a few questions about the bench press lately and kind of responding to people on Instagram. So I decided that I was gonna make this video, as you saw from the title, 5 things that you probably didn't know about the bench. Now for some of you guys that are a little more advanced, some of these might be things you already know, but I'm gonna just try and detail each one a little bit and maybe you'll learn something as well. But if you're advanced, the least you can do is share this video to somebody who's not on your level, so that way they can also learn about these 5 things I'm about to explain to you guys. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get it rolling. I'm not trying to keep y'all here all day, just trying to drop the knowledge and send y'all on your way. All right, so number 1, the first thing about the bench press is that the height of the bench matters. Now, what do I mean by the height of the bench? So if you actually go to most commercial gyms, right, just big chain gyms, wherever you happen to be, whether it's here in America or overseas when you're watching this video, the bench presses at most chain gyms are a lot smaller than your normal competition style benches. The normal competition style bench is about 17 inches high and about 12 inches of thickness on the actual pad you lay on. As opposed to the benches that are in commercial gyms, they're about 12 inches off the floor and about 8.5, maybe about 9 inches at the most in width. Now, why does this matter? Why does the size of the bench matter? Well, number 1, the thicker the bench or the more width it has, the more shoulder stability you're gonna have. If you're a person like me, I'm a pretty wide guy. I'm 6'2", 240 pounds. Trying to lose weight right now, by the way, so hopefully that number will be down in a few videos. But yeah, I'm a big guy. So if I'm laying down on a regular commercial gym bench, my shoulders are gonna like slack over. You're gonna see a lot of my shoulder hanging over. I'll try and put over some old clips from when I was benching at 24-Hour Fitness, and you might be able to see that my shoulders kind of lean over a little bit. And what that's gonna do is, without that shoulder stability, I've told you guys plenty of times before, when it comes to the bench press, stability is everything. So if you can't stabilize the weight, then it's gonna be a lot harder for you to move the weight, right? You cannot press a weight that you can't stabilize. And so when you're able to get that extra stability from the extra width of that's an extra 4 inches or so of width, right? You're going to be able to press more weight. Now, as far as the height of the bench goes, going from a small 12 inches to like the 17 inches allows you to get your hips more into an extended position, and that also puts you in a better position to get your knees more under your hips. That's gonna put you in a stronger position, especially if you're powerlifting. If you're bodybuilding, maybe not as much, but I will say this, the stability of the bench is gonna matter regardless, because you don't wanna leave weight on the bar. Because here's the thing, yes, we all know that range of motion, an increase of that is going to increase muscle size, right? Going through a longer range of motion with a lighter weight, right, is better for muscle hypertrophy than going with a heavier weight through a shorter range of motion. That's been proven. But the problem you have when the bench is too small is that because you don't have that stability, you're gonna move the weight through the same range of motion but with a lesser weight. So you're actually leaving a lot of gains on the table. So if you can, right, if you really care about your bench and you really want to see the best gains, try and find a gym that has a proper size bench press. Now, if you can't, that's fine. Just know that in the back of your mind, you are leaving some gains on the table. All right, second thing you probably didn't know about the bench. It is the easiest of the big compound movements to recover from. Now, with the big compound movements, I'm really talking about squat, bench, and deadlift. I don't think you're gonna recover faster on the bench than say something like an overhead press or pull-ups if you want to consider those a big lift. But from the major 3 lifts, it's the easiest to recover from, just because usually you're not using as much weight as you are on things like a deadlift or a squat. There's not as much neural fatigue since the weight is a lot lighter, and you're not even using as many muscles. I mean, yes, you are using your legs a little bit for leg drive, your lats to stabilize things, your chest and shoulders, but it's nowhere near the amount of effort it takes to squat or it takes to deadlift. And if you want to test that theory, go and try and do a 1 rep max on something. If you fail a 1 rep max on a deadlift, you will be smoked for a week, sometimes longer. Same thing happens on the squat. If you fail a bench press, chances are, I mean, you might see some effect maybe the next training session a little bit, but you recover pretty quick from that. A failed deadlift or squat can smash your training for the rest of the week if you overshoot too bad. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Bench press is something that is easily recovered from. That means that you can actually train it more times per week. So instead of, training the bench maybe once or twice a week, you can actually train it 3, 4. There's even some people who bench 5, 6 times a week. Of course, you have to kind of play around with how much you're doing on each day, but you're able to do it simply because the bench is just a little easier to recover from. So for those of you bench boys out there who really like to get your bench in, don't worry, you'll recover, you'll be fine. All right, third thing that you probably didn't know about the bench is it's very technique based. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is when it comes to the bench press, one of the ways that you can actually improve the movement the fastest is to get your technique honed in. When you have a solid bench technique, you're able to take the bar, stabilize it, move it through the proper range of motion while controlling it, and then press it through the proper bar path, and that in itself will make your bench numbers go up. Now, this is true for the deadlift and the squat a little bit, but it's a little easier to muscle your way through those when you kind of are out of position because you have more muscles working for you. When it comes to the bench, you kind of just have your chest and shoulders and triceps, and then you have a little stability in your legs and in your lats. But for the most part, if you don't execute the lift properly, it's a lot easier to fail on a bench press. Some of the things that actually made my bench go up were not even related to me adding more weight to the bar or training over a course of time. I'll give you guys a perfect example. In my first ever powerlifting meet, the most weight I ever lifted, right? Now this also has something to do with the bench I was lifting on was a commercial gym bench, which I can never go back to. But the most I ever touched in meet prep was 320 pounds, and it was for a struggle like RP 9, right? When I got to my competition and I got on a real competition bench, because my technique was still pretty good, my numbers were able to go from 320 at a struggle of RP 9 all the way to 358. And it was probably an RP 7 or 8. I just didn't want to overshoot, but it really felt easier. And I was able to add 30 plus pounds to my bench press just by 1, lifting on a better bench, which was number 1, and 2, being able to have better technique because I was able to stabilize myself better. And I just had, bettered my technique over the course of that meet prep. So technique matters, guys. So make sure if you have a coach, which if you don't, your boy, go ahead and plug you in the info. I mean, I had to do it at some point in this video, shameless plug, right? But if you have a coach, or if you, coach yourself and you kind of look at your clips, try to critique your physique. Try to critique your form on video so that way you can make little adjustments and you can make yourself a little bit of a better lifter just by adjusting your technique. Number 4, the fourth thing you didn't really know about the bench. We've kind of covered this in some of the other 1 through 3 that I just went through, but the bench involves more than just chest and tricep. When you first start the bench, most people just lay down on the bench, they unrack it, and they just try and press it up using their arms, which is their triceps, and a little bit of chest. And over time, you might see people kind of raise their chest up a little bit, kind of expand it to get more chest activation. But what they don't understand is that they be able to actually move more weight if they use more muscles. Number 1, the lats for stability. When you get your lats and you stabilize them and you're able to really hone in on that stability, I'm telling you, when you unrack their weight, it's gonna feel a lot lighter because you're stabilizing the weight, and it's gonna move a lot smoother, and you're gonna be able to add pounds to the bar, I guarantee it. And then of course you have your legs. When you learn how to properly use leg drive, which I'll get into in another video, there's different types of leg drive, but regardless of that fact, you want to use your legs in the bench press. That's actually going to allow you to move more weight. Now, if your main goal is hypertrophy and just building a bigger chest, you don't really need leg drive. That's not really helping as far as, building a big muscular chest. But I will say being able to stabilize the weight with your lats is going to help you move more weight. And we all know that more weight moved for more volume over time is going to be more muscle grown. That's just how it works, man. That's just science. And the 5th thing you probably didn't know about the bench, and this one's gonna be a little debatable for sure. We can probably debate this down in the comments, but it's not the best chest builder. And let me explain why. So the problem with the bench press, as far as it being the best chest builder, right, is the fact that, yeah, you're able to move more weight on a bench press than anything else, but again, like I said earlier, a lesser weight through a greater range of motion when it comes to hypertrophy is going to be superior than more weight through a shorter range of motion. So for instance, if I'm able to get a barbell and, you know, do 225 pounds, that's gonna get me a good amount of hypertrophy, right? For, you know, let's say I do 3 sets of 10, you know, because that's what everybody starts off with. But let's say now I'm able to take that, and let's say I get a 100-pound dumbbell in each hand, right? Now each one of those dumbbells equates to, you know, 200 pounds total, which is 25 pounds less. However, if you're bringing it all the way down, you're actually able to go past your chest and get a greater range of motion. And although it's less weight, arguably I would say it's maybe a bit of a better chest builder. I don't know. Let's argue it down in the comments below. I want you guys to go ahead and comment. Do you think that dumbbell bench, where you're able to get a greater range of motion because you're able to go farther than you can with the bar because your body's not stopping you, you know, the bar is not touching your body and stopping you from going any further, you can actually go farther with the dumbbells? Or do you feel like that extra bit of range of motion isn't worth trading the weight that you can put onto a barbell? Let's go ahead and argue down in the comments below, respectfully though. All right guys, so that is the video. Those are 5 things that you probably didn't know about the bench. I hope I was able to teach you something today. If I did, be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know what you did learn along with what you thought about number 5. You know, I want to see some comments down there. And if you guys like this type of video, let me know down below as well, so that way I can maybe make this about, you know, the squat, the deadlift, maybe some other things that you guys might have questions on. All right guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up down below, it really helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to click that bell next to the subscription button so you get notifications for all my new videos. And of course, don't forget the orders, subscribe and share, like and comment, follow all my social media. Till next time, all my devil dogs, dismissed.
Where can I find this future? Step in your mind or you will be blinded, trapped in the mind that flies within our walls. I'm feeling like my mind within the war between myself, between the slavery of media is poor.